The Bold Ones. Burl Ives. Joseph Campanella. James Farentino. Lawyers defending justice in the nation's courtrooms. Leslie Nielsen. Harry Rhodes, public servants enforcing the laws of a challenging society. E.G. Marshall. John Saxon. David Hartman, doctors expanding the horizons of the new medicine. The Bold Ones.
Help you?
I hope you've got a vacancy.
We got a dozen.
Things are slow.
Yeah, always were.
I'll bet. Can I still get breakfast?
Yeah, the coffee shop across the street. Best food in town.
Shall I register first?
No hurry, the name will do.
Oh, Frank Garson. Can I leave my bag with you?
I'll take care of it.
Thank you. That's a nice cat.
No, it isn't.
Oh, thank you.
Are they basted enough for you?
Oh, they're fine. Just fine, thank you.
Just passing through?
Uh-huh.
You're lucky. Going east or west?
East. Hey, is there a place near here called the Bluebird Cafe?
Oh, yeah. It's just down the street. If you're just passing through, you might as well forget it. They don't open till after dark. How are they?
Who?
Well, the eggs.
Oh, they're fine, just fine.
You're still lucky.
Soda, please. Hi.
Hi. Need a menu?
No, I'll have what I had yesterday. It was fine.
Number 3 basted. I thought you were just passing through.
I decided I could use another day's rest.
Well, you're in the right place. All you can do here is rest. By the way, did you find the Bluebird all right last night?
Yeah, no problem.
What's it like? I've never been there.
It's fine. Just fine.
Number 3 basted.
Hi.
Hi. Just as I need you, you appear. It's uncanny. Will you join us?
Well, thank you.
Oh, this is Sherma Willens, Mr.
Frank Carson, how do you do?
Nice to meet you. And I'm Mary Gaffney.
How do you do, too? Listen, what were you talking... What was that about just as you needed me?
Sherma here does not believe that anyone told me that the Bluebird was a fine place to eat.
Well, it's the Bible truth. I mean, I did say it.
I think I owe you an apology.
What for?
Oh, for teasing you the way I did last night.
Oh, I enjoyed it. No apologies are in order.
You're really leaving today.
Yeah.
You're going east, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wish you were heading west.
Why?
I'd ask you to take me along with you.
I mean, just like that? No preparations, no 30-day notice to the boss or anything?
Oh, I gave him 30 days' notice 60 days ago.
Well, goodbye, Mary. You've brightened my stay in Pyro.
Sure. That's why you stretched it 3 whole days.
Listen, when you start out for San Francisco again, please don't pick up with some stranger. Take a bus.
Oh, yes, sir. Good luck at whatever you do. And say hello to Mr. Hoover for me.
Mr. Hoover is not with the CIA. But then again, neither am I. So I will say hello to him for you.
You know what? I wish I was 10 years older and heading east.
You're a nice kid, Mary. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's all yours, Pop.
Gorson!
I know you.
No. But I know you. Do you want to tell me what you were doing in there the other night? With those 2 little birds?
Where were you the night before? I was here all night waiting, and I've waited in better places.
Okay, let's not get into a flap. Now, there's a place down the road where we can talk. So why don't you follow me, huh?
Now, what's the deep trouble you mentioned in your letter?
Also $500 in that letter.
I didn't cash the check.
Well, what happens to me if you don't want any part of me, huh? Where do I stand then?
Right where you started. What you tell me is privileged. I couldn't repeat it if I wanted to, and I won't. Now, what's your problem?
You remember that jet that crashed in LA last month? Well, one of the passengers' names was Burroughs. She was my dad's sister and old maid aunt. Well, he was killed, and when that plane crashed, according to the newspapers, the old boy here, he inherited 17 million bucks.
You telling me you caused the crash?
No, man, I am telling you that my name isn't Turner. It's Burroughs. Randy Burroughs. L.A. 3 years ago. A little girl named Mary Shaw was murdered. Yeah, you remember.
Wasn't it raped and murdered? How old was she, 14?
Look, man, now you know who I am and you don't like it, so don't think about it. Just think about how much I'm gonna pay you as my lawyer. I read about you and about your firm, all that stuff about the best defense for everybody. Guilty or no? What was that? Propaganda?
We sometimes represent people we know are guilty. Sometimes we refuse. You know, when our stomach isn't quite strong enough for the job. My stomach isn't quite strong enough to represent you.
Listen, and don't assume I'm guilty, okay?
You just told me you were, didn't you?
I can't go in there to collect that money unless I got myself a lawyer who thinks I got a chance.
You'll find a lawyer who'll take your case.
And while I'm looking, what the hell are you gonna be doing, huh? Look, man, I can't run anymore. You know, it's not easy to find a place to hide. Besides, while I'm doing that, I guess I gotta hope that you don't cop out on me.
Now, you don't have to hope. You can know it. I won't cop out on you for the same reason I won't represent you. Mary?
Number three basted.
find him, Sergeant?
Yeah, sure, we found him. He was over boiling a carburetor right where he works.
Well?
Well, Turner's boss says that he was away from the garage for a few minutes this morning. He went to pick up some gaskets in Portersville. And the story does check out. Doesn't give him a perfect alibi, but it does account for his absence. Have you decided to tell me why you think it was Turner who took a shot at you?
No, Sergeant. I haven't. I'm sorry.
Get the scared look off your face. I'm only going to give you a message. This afternoon, I mailed a letter, and in that letter's a sealed envelope. Now, if anything happens to me that looks even remotely suspicious, that envelope is going to be opened. I don't have to tell you what's in it.
I thought it was your sign.
Well, what's your story this time?
Story?
I saw your new car. It was traveling west.
Yeah, I know.
You told me you were going east.
I lied.
Quite a lot.
That's right.
Why? And let's forget that bit about the CIA. When they lie, they do it well.
You aren't glad to see me.
I don't know. Who are you?
I'm glad to see you.
All right, I'm glad to see you too. Whoever you are. Is your name real at least? Is it Frank Garson?
No. Oh, Mary, look, the truth is not that interesting. I just couldn't talk about it in Piru. I'm a lawyer. My office is in Los Angeles. I went to Piru on legal business. The client asked me to use the name Frank Garson. He was afraid my real name might be recognized.
Why? Is it well known?
In some places. It's Brian Darrow.
I've never heard of you, Mr. Darrow. But I'm very glad to meet you, at last. Here.
Thank you.
Do you like them?
Yes, I do very much. I shall save them forever until they wither and die, and then I'll press them in a book.
What kind? A law book?
I don't keep a diary.
I'm glad.
Come on. Walt, come on, please. I can't concentrate with you trying to make birdies in your office.
And I can't concentrate any other way. Now, why don't you sit down? You're wearing a path in my putting green.
Randy Burroughs came to this city on his own initiative. He is going to stand trial of his own free choice. Because, gentlemen, He is innocent.
Defending Burroughs would not only be distasteful, but I don't think it's a winnable case. Wasn't there a witness that saw Burroughs with the girl just about a few minutes before she was killed?
Yeah, a man named Kratz.
How about that $17 million? Isn't that what brought him back?
Excuse me, ma'am. Oh, no, sir. He had no idea of the fortune that he'd come into. Why, if you could have seen the look of astonishment on this boy's face when I told him about it, you'd see that it had nothing whatever to do with his decision.
Yes?
Brian, I have a Mary Gaffney on the phone.
Mary? Mary? I thought you were on a bus to San Francisco.
Well, I got a job, so now I'm going to be staying in L.A. for a while.
Well, what kind of a job?
It's the same kind I had in Piru. What else?
Where?
Silver Goose. Ever hear of it? It's on Fifth Street.
No. Ever hear of the Silver Goose on Fifth Street? My partner's heard of it.
Mr. Canley, may I ask your client a question?
As long as you don't want to guarantee, you can ask me a question.
Mr. Burroughs, where have you been the past 3 years? Where have you been hiding?
I don't like that word hiding.
Do you order breakfast by numbers there?
Yeah, but you want number 5 here, not 3.
I'll remember that. Mary, you take good care of yourself, you hear me? And if there's anything you ever need, you call me.
But then I'll let him answer this one.
No, that's all right. I have been hiding. I knew that I was wanted. But the only reason I was hiding was because I hoped that the police would find the person or persons who really did do this. As far as the 17 million goes, it's all right, too. But I'd rather not say where I've been hiding, because innocent people, very kind people, might be embarrassed, maybe even hurt by it.
So I just can't advise you. I'd like to help, but I can't. Now, you understand, Mary, don't you?
No, I don't. I mean, you're a lawyer. You know about these things. I know. It was him. That's why you can't advise me. And that's why you were in Piru. That is it, isn't it? Of course. He wanted you to defend him. Well, I guess you said no, didn't you? Oh, I know. You can't say anything. I guess I shouldn't keep after you. It's just that I don't know what to do. And you can't tell me, I know. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to figure it out by myself. At least now I know it's really him.
Does it really matter? You can't know anything about him that's really relevant to his trial.
You know, I may be just an underachiever from Plainville, Kansas, but I'm not stupid. I do know something that's relevant. Boy, is it relevant. Can I tell you about it?
Mary, I'd love to know what you think you're talking about. But I'll just have to live without it.
First instance, we find ourselves preparing a case not on behalf of our clients, but on behalf of those who need no representation in the matter. More on this later. I think my partner's having a nervous breakdown.
I've been sitting in at the Burroughs trial, and Hanley's gonna win it. He's gonna get that kid off free and clear.
Yeah? How?
Well, you remember the big witness, Kratz? Well, Kratz just got off the stand after testifying that Burroughs isn't the one he saw that night.
They identified him 3 years ago, picked him out of a mugshot.
Yeah, now, 3 years later, no, $17 million later, he says Burroughs isn't the one. The worst of it is Mary Gaffney knows something about Burroughs, something she thinks would nail him.
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know.
Did she go to the DA?
I don't think so. She wanted me to help her decide what to do.
And, of course, your ethics wouldn't allow you to discuss it with her.
I know. You think I'm a little rigid.
Well, I think you're a lot rigid. I would tell her, and I think I might.
I mean, how I feel about privileged information is a thoroughly personal matter, isn't it?
Absolutely. You have your code of ethics. I have mine. The next fella has his. I respect your feelings, Brian.
Thank you.
I grew up in a rougher school than you did. It's too late for me to change.
And I'm not interested in changing. What do you want me to do, Walt? Tell myself I can't go to the police with what I have because it's privileged information, so I should tell my partner so he can do it?
What your partner does or does not do is his own affair.
And there's something else, Walt. Would I be so strong for Mary testifying? Her head is on a chopping block if she goes against him and he gets off. Now, would I be so strong for it if I didn't know, if he hadn't told me he was guilty?
My, but we're introspective.
Sometimes I wish I was raised in that rougher school with you. Schuster versus...
The United Smelting. Morning, Brian.
Now tell me, you had the number 6 unbasted for breakfast this morning at the Silver Goose.
I did not.
It was dinner. We had hamburgers. Oh, Brian, I'm so scared. Well, what if I testify and he gets away anyhow? I mean, with all that money, he could just do something terrible to me.
Don't you worry, nothing's gonna happen to you.
All rise. Department 31 of the Superior Court of the State of California in and for the County of Los Angeles is now in session. Honorable Carl E. Haynes presiding. Be seated.
With Your Honor's permission, the state calls Miss Mary Gaffney to the stand.
Please state your full name.
Mary Eva Gaffney.
Raise your right hand. You do solemnly affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You do this under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Be seated.
Miss Gaffney, are you acquainted with the defendant?
Yes, I am.
Now, when did you make his acquaintance?
It was about 3 months ago
Where?
in Piru, Colorado.
Now, will you tell the court how you met him?
Your Honor, I object. What Randy Burroughs was doing 3 months ago is immaterial and irrelevant.
Your Honor, I am laying foundation for testimony from this witness, which is both relevant and material.
All right. I'll allow you to continue for now.
Thank you. Now, how did you meet him?
He came into the coffee shop where I work. He was always asking me, to go out with him, but I would say no. He'd ask me out at least twice a week for about 2 months. You see, he had this beard, and he looked kind of grubby and...
Objection!
Sustained. Confine yourself to what happened, please. And, Mr. Phillips, I suggest that you get to relevant testimony.
Did you go out on a date with Randy Burroughs?
Well, I didn't know him by that name, but I did finally go out with him, yes.
And what happened?
Well, he got terribly drunk.
Objection!
Sustained. Strike that last statement. I won't warn you again, Mr. Phillips, but I expect you to see to it that the witness confines herself to what happened.
Well, Your Honor, I believe that if the defendant got terribly drunk, it is a statement of what happened.
It is a conclusion, Mr. Phillips, and the statement will be stricken from the record, along with your last remark.
Mary, did the defendant drive you home?
No, I drove.
It was your car?
No, it was his.
Well, did he ask you to drive?
Yes.
Well, did he say why?
Yes, he said, I think you better drive. I'm smashed.
What time did you arrive at your residence?
It's about 1:30 in the morning.
And what did the defendant do when you got there?
He tried to kiss me.
Your Honor, it sounds as though we're going to hear evidence so prejudicial as to amount to grounds for a mistrial.
Your Honor, my next question will establish the relevance and the admissibility of this girl's testimony.
All right, Mr. Phillips, proceed. With caution.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Mary, you were saying that it was 1:30 in the morning when you arrived at your residence.
Yes, it was about 1:30.
Did he kiss you?
Well, he tried to, but I stopped him.
What did he do then?
Then he apologized. Then he asked me if I'd do him a favor. He asked me if I'd give him one of my stockings as a remembrance.
And did you give him the stocking?
No. I tried to get out of the car, and then he grabbed me and pulled off my shoe, and then he started to pull up my stocking, and...
Objection! Immaterial, irrelevant, and prejudicial.
Your Honor, the modus operandi in the murder of Mary Shaw has been established. She was strangled with one of her own stockings.
Objection!
Mr. Phillips, confine yourself to relevant testimony.
This witness hasn't finished. Her further testimony will fully support the relevance of her last two statements.
Objection overruled. Proceed, Mr. Phillips.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Mary, you were saying that he tried to rip off your stocking.
Yes. Oh, I screamed. The lights went on across the street, and somebody yelled, "What's going on over there?" And then he said, "Now you sit real quiet. If you try to get out of this car, well, I'll kill you." He said, "I killed a girl once before for treating me just like you did. 3 years ago." Well, then the lights went off, and I wasn't afraid because I didn't believe him, and I told him so. He said, "You better believe me because it really happened." Then he said, her name was Mary, too. Well, that scared me because it sounded like the truth, so I grabbed for the handle of the door and I shoved it open and I tried to get out of the car. Well, I got out and I made it inside the house.
Thank you, Mary. Your witness, Mr. Hanley.
Your Honor, I move for a mistrial. This woman's testimony leaves absolutely no choice.
Well, Mr. Hanley, in view of the hour, I'll hear arguments on your motion following the recess. Court is recessed until 2 p.m. Your motion, Mr. Hanley, is therefore denied. Proceed.
Miss Gaffney, you didn't like Randy Burroughs, did you?
Not very much.
Right from the moment you met him.
I suppose that's true.
Yet you went out with him.
Well, I thought I could be wrong about it.
And you don't like him now, do you?
No, I don't.
Now, Miss Gaffney, you claim Randy Burroughs told you he committed the murder.
Yes, he did.
And then you, of course, promptly reported this fact to the local police, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Since coming to Los Angeles, you've read about this trial in the papers, haven't you?
Yes?
You've read all the details of what the DA said he'd prove here, didn't you?
Yes?
According to your story, this man was a wanted killer who admitted his crime to you. Isn't that right?
Yes, he did.
Then the next day, he must have taken off, gone on the run again. He did do that, didn't he?
No, he stayed right in Piru.
He stayed in Piru after confessing to be a wanted killer? Fantastic. You didn't like Randy Burroughs, and you don't like him now, do you?
No.
I don't believe I need to ask any further questions of you.
Any redirect, Mr. Phillips?
Yes, Your Honor. Most emphatically. Now, Mary, why didn't you report Randy Burroughs' story to the Piru police?
Oh, I didn't believe him. I just thought he had a very sick imagination.
Do you know why he didn't leave town afterward?
Objection, Your Honor. There's no possible way that she would know the answer to that question.
Your Honor, she does know the answer.
Objection overruled. Please answer the question, Miss Gaffney.
Well, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he came into the coffee shop. He acted very nervous and worried, and he looked very pale. Then he ordered a cup of coffee, and he asked me what happened last night. And I said, "You don't remember?" And he said, "Well, after we left the club, I don't remember anything." He said, "Did I act out of order, or did I say anything strange, or something I shouldn't?" Well, I said, "No, you fell asleep." So he kind of relaxed, and he smiled, and he ordered this big meal like he hadn't eaten all day.
Thank you, Mary. No more questions.
Mr. Hanley, do you wish to re-cross-examine the witness?
No, Your Honor.
The witness is excused. Court is recessed until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Have you had it yet with the big city?
No, nothing could get me back to Plainville.
Please rise and face the court. Will the jury foreman please hand the verdict to the clerk?
We, the jury, find the defendant, Randy Burroughs,
Guilty. Murder 1. You still there?
You know, it's terrible to feel relieved about a thing like that. But I do. I was so frightened of what he could do if...
Now, you had a right to be frightened. Would you like to go out tonight somewhere or forget about it?
Oh, Brian.
Oh, what's the matter?
I got a date. Maybe I could break it.
No. I don't want you to do that. Now, tell me, is it someone I'd approve of?
I don't know. He's graduating from dentist school in 2 weeks.
Well, that's great. Why do you sound so disappointed?
Now, don't laugh.
He's from Plainville.
I am not laughing.
Apparently, he read about me in the newspaper after I testified. And it said where I was from. So he gave me a call at work. Turns out we went to the same high school together.
At different times, of course.
Of course. Is this your first date?
Yeah. He says he's met me before back home. I don't even know what he looks like.
I'll call you tomorrow for a full report. Good night, Mary.
Could you make that good luck?
Sure. Good luck, Mary.
Thanks. Bye. You.
Why? What happened?
I've got to be at the bus depot in 40 minutes. I'm going to Nevada.
Nevada? Why?
I'm getting married.
Married? Who to?
To him. Well, I mean, we only went on 3 dates, but I went to his graduation last night, and he asked me.
Oh, Mary, that's wonderful. Totally wonderful. Now, listen, now, if you don't name one of your kids after me, oh, we're gonna be finished for life.
I'll name the first one Brian, and the second one Daryl.
Only if they're boys, please. Well, I guess I'd better let you go. Goodbye, Mary.
Could you make that good luck?
Good luck, Mary. Mary! Where are you gonna live?
In Plainville.